Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. My name is Elizabeth Woodruff, and I just wanted to welcome everyone to the April Society Roundtable. So we really want to thank you for joining us this evening. I know typically we have these Society Roundtables during the day at 2 p.m. And we decided to change that so that everyone, our leaders and the board can access this time. It seems to allow for access for most people. So we went ahead and changed it to Wednesday and then to an evening time. Oh, hold on just one moment. Okay. So I just wanted to introduce our teammates here. Our Vice President for Alumni Support, Terrence Sinkfeld. Not sure if he's with us, but I just wanted to introduce him. Ed Tague, Class of 95. He's Vice President for Information Technology. Hi, Ed. I see you there. Debbie Edelin, Class of 92, our Senior Director and Alumni Support Engagement Senior Director. Thank you for being here, Debbie. My boss, Jeanette McMahon, Class of 83. She is the Director for Alumni and Parent Engagement. Stephanie Erickson, Class of 93. Our Sallyport manager, and I think all of you might know her because she's on all the time helping each and every one of you access and troubleshoot. And then my name, of course, is Elizabeth Woodruff. I serve as the engagement manager for the West Point Societies and Parent Club. So thanks for having me. I'm in my 4th month here, and I'm just excited to interact with you and to meet everyone. So before we get started, I just did want to highlight a few things, and I'll allow our senior leader and director speak as well. And if we wanted to touch on this. So before we get started, before I introduce to you our keynote speaker this evening, I just wanted to highlight some key action items. In the chat, I went ahead and put those things in there for you so you can access. So as I said, we will be moving to Microsoft Teams. Save that new link and time update because we will be having and using that same link for easy access. So I'll go ahead and put that out every single 3rd Tuesday of the month. Our leader conference is coming up in April. If you have not considered, or if you are considering, the Distinguished Society Award applications are due June 1st. And so that link is in there as well. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat, or you can also connect with me and Jeanette, and we can guide you through some of that if you have any questions. Also, we've been fielding a lot of emails about the leadership changes that some of your societies have been going through starting in January. So I just wanted to remind everyone that I love receiving those emails, but if you can access that link, there's actually a leadership change form located on Sallyport. And so that's a place where we can keep that all updated and in one place. And it provides not only if the person is out of that position, but if they've also moved into a new position, you can indicate that on that form. And so it keeps everything kind of tidy and neat for us. So if we ever need to go back on dates, and it's all there on a spreadsheet for us. Along with that, every society needs to update their memorandum of understanding. So every year you need to sign and submit that. So you must renew that annually. So if you haven't done that yet, or if you haven't done that, or if you have, that's great. But you can also go in the chat and link to that. And it's a Zoho form, so all you need to do is just follow the prompts and sign that at the end. Recently, Stephanie, our Sallyport manager, in our leader update, presented a link to the Founders Day Leaders After Action Review. And so that's a form that helps us create a better experience for you for next year's Founders Day. So there's some really interesting and pertinent questions in there that's designed to help you and help us provide a better experience for you as leaders for next year. And then also be on the lookout, and the last tip there is we're looking to solicit conference topic inputs for the leader conference for this fall. So that's going to be coming out soon. So be on the lookout for that. We'll put in the leader update, but we'll also send it out in a campaign. Jeanette or Debbie, do you have anything to add?
Just to clarify, the Leaders Conference will be August 11th through the 13th. For those of you who weren't able to be on the webinar last month, we are moving it forward a day. So Tuesday is the day where everybody's arriving. That's the golf outing and other optional activities. It follows March Back, which is on Monday. And then we will kick off the conference with the breakout sessions on Wednesday. And then we'll have plenary sessions at West Point on Thursday. So we hope that you all can come, or if you're unable to, that you send a representative. And thanks, Elizabeth. Appreciate you putting this together tonight. And I'm happy to be sitting on and listening as well and hearing from Fred.
I'm excited too. I know I'm going to learn a few things as well. Jeanette, did you have anything before we move forward?
I just want to thank everybody for a Founders Day season. We've done 111 out of our 113 events so far. It's been really positive. People seem to really appreciate all the effort that you as the society leaders have put into running these things. And just we've gotten great, exciting feedback that the events went really smoothly, and there's just a lot of positive energy around it. So I just want to say how much we're excited about that as well.
That's great. Thank you, Jeanette. Ed, did you want to add anything before we move forward?
No, just happy to be here. Curious to hear if there's any issues that I can help address. Thanks.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And Stephanie, before we move forward.
No, just excited to hear Fred speak and then see if there's any questions I can answer also. So thanks.
Okay, great. I think we're all looking forward to hearing Fred. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and advance a slide. Okay, if it's hopefully advancing here, let's. Okay, let me see if I can't get. Oh no. Okay, here we go. All right. So welcome everyone. I wanted to welcome. He's covering his eyes. Welcome Fred. He is class of 2001 till duty is done. I put that little thing on the side there, and he is the Chief Growth Officer for Cordario. He is also on the Board of Governors for the West Point Society of New York. And so they had their Founders Day. I heard it was wonderful. I think Debbie, you attended that as well. So, we connected with Fred because we saw the West Point Society of New York's Founders Day, or the page, their society page. And, it was just such a wonderful exemplar. And we ended up connecting him, Stephanie ended up connecting him with another society member because there was so much going on there and so many things that were wonderful about information, events, quick go-tos. And so we decided to ask him if he wouldn't mind doing a Teams meeting with us and showing us, kind of where do I start? Going back to the basics for prioritizing content that makes the biggest impact for our societies and what that looks like. Creating compelling content, strategies for creating meaningful and tailored engagements for your members. What do your members want? And then, Fred is an AI powerhouse, from what I know. He uses AI powered efficiency to leverage his tools, and he uses that to streamline some of his workflow. So I'm not sure if any of you use that, but I'm sure he's going to fill us in on some of the basics and some of the great things that he uses and the tools he uses to make a big impact with the society. And without further ado, Fred, would you like to go ahead and share your screen? I'll stop sharing mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay?
All right.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your time today. And thank you for that intro. I'm a little bit humbled by it for sure. One of the things that, hopefully, and I've met a few of you, either at Founders Day or at school or on Zooms in the past where we've talked about improving our Sallyport presence and whatnot. But I kind of want to start with some of the basics. So my name is Fred. I'm a 2001 guy. I am not an IT expert. Okay. I've worked in IT and I sell IT, but I am definitely not an IT expert. Okay. I don't do vibe coding on the weekends. And I have no idea what Cortex code or any of that stuff that they're talking about on the TV about. I have no idea. But I know how to ask a lot of really good questions. And I think that's like the key here about what has transpired with the West Point Society of New York. And I want to, if there's one thing that I impress upon each of you listening here today and listening to this recording is that I don't have all of the answers, and I'm sorry about that. But I ask people what they know, and I ask people what they want out of the society. And so, as long as you're continuously embracing that as a society leader, I think you'll always find and adapt your society to what your members want. I joined our society like 6 months ago, 9 months ago, maybe now at this point. And my classmate, Ashling, is the secretary. And she's like, Fred, you'd be great on the communications subcommittee. So lead the subcommittee and the membership subcommittee. And I'm like, great. Where do I start? And they're like, make it up as you go. And I'm like, perfect. So that's exactly what I did. And just like a good inquisitive Army officer, I started asking questions. Like, and a lot of my friends that, had a part of the society or were just in their own societies. Like we've got the Yale Club here, we've got the Harvard Club here, we've got the Penn Club. So I know people that are members of those clubs. I'm like, what's going on over there? What are those guys doing? And I started asking a bunch of questions. And I soon realized that there's a lot of West Pointers in my area that are just not engaged in what we're doing as a society as a whole. And so what I ended up doing was creating a survey that I sent out to nearly 3,000 email addresses that are in our society. And Stephanie helped me with this. She helped me with like figuring out what is the email database and like how to, where in Sallyport to go to get all that type of stuff. And I started asking some pretty basic questions. I'm going to show you my survey. And for any one of you that wants to copy this survey, I will send it to you as a copy and you can start to ask your members the same survey. And I plan to ask this question again in December. So I sent this out. And so I started to realize that the West Point Society of New York is made up of not just West Pointers, but also friends of West Point and some parents of West Pointers, spouses, children of, former, the whole kit and caboodle. I haven't said kit and caboodle in a while, but I'll see if I can do it a couple more times during this. The whole kit and caboodle. And so I wanted to ask all of them what their perception is and what they want to get out of the society. Because I didn't want to make an assumption to start. I didn't want to assume everybody's going to go to Sallyport because we have it. I didn't want to assume that everybody wants to get a live tweet of Fred's thoughts while he's at Founders Day. Like I want to hear it from the troops, right? So I sent this out and you can see some of the basics, right? I wanted to know, what is their primary connection to us? Are they a paying member or are they a former member paying member, right? I wanted to get their feedback on, do you feel like you get anything out of our membership dues? And our membership dues are expensive. We've got a $100 annual membership fee. That's what it was before I started. And then I was like, well, what do we do here? Like, do we do networking events? Do we do volunteer stuff? Like, what, any of this stuff resonate with you guys? And so I had people start to rank and rate exactly what they thought of some of those societies, some of the society's events. How often do you attend? And then I wanted to get some active, like, free form text back from them on what they thought. And then depending upon how they answered a couple of these questions. So like if you're a former member, I flowed you through a separate queue of questions. So former members, I asked them, why did you leave or why did you not join? Was it the cost? Was it, is it too far or is it too inconvenient to change jobs? Who knows, right? And then what would you consider a new fee? And then some more free text, all that type of stuff. Like very like, tell me everything type of response. And you can see the rest here. And what do you want us to change going forward? How do you want me to communicate with you? Like, does Facebook work for you? Does Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Schmergenfergen? I have no idea. Like, there's stuff in here that I had no idea existed that we got feedback on. I was like, whoa, what is that tool? What is Partiful? I have no idea what that is. And so we got some really good feedback from that, right? And the same thing, like, what do you, when I ended up getting and sending this out, I left it open for, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, and I got a bunch of responses. This is like just gobbledygook. I'm just showing you that this is all responses. And some really good, like, detailed response, other stuff, and so what I ended up doing, just like a good IT leader would in AI, I downloaded this into Sheets. And so you can see it and hopefully you can see my screen. This, like, it actually, like, puts it into basically an Excel spreadsheet for you. And then I ended up typing it into not ChatGPT, but Gemini. So Google Gemini is the AI equivalent. I don't know, did I stop sharing? I guess I did. Oops. So I ended up putting that into Google Gemini. And when I did, I said, please summarize this for me. And not only did I say, please summarize this for me, I said, please put this in where I can understand what the trends are, what the themes are, what works, what doesn't work. And I ended up creating I sent an email out to everybody based on the survey results. I said, here's the survey results. This is what you guys want. So again, I asked them what they want, and then I told them back what they want, right? And it was pretty interesting, some of the results. Now, again, Fred did not type out most of this stuff. This was like AI generated response. Like, and I entered in like, hey, tell me from a West Point perspective. Tell me from a former, cadet perspective. Tell me from the, and there was a bunch of things that they told me that I thought was very interesting. The first is that connection is the #1 priority. Now, this will be different for your society. This is the West Point Society in New York of those that answered, right? That supporting current cadets is really important to them. Connecting with classmates is very important to them. They believe that, we don't do enough in the outer boroughs of New York, that we're very Manhattan focused. They want to get more value out of the membership dues. They also want a cadet watch program. So when the Corps is in New York City, we want information about that. What are they doing in New York? Like, is there a basketball game that they're playing at the Garden or against St. John's? Or is there a softball game that's being played at Fordham? Like, so we can go and meet and that type of stuff. They wanted simplified communications. And then this is kind of really what stuck out to me. They prefer email. They said to me, Fred, we prefer email as the mechanism to communicate. And they want to use Sallyport so that if they miss it by email, Sallyport can be that aggregated location hub so that if they choose not to get the email, they know where to go. So I gave them the full report. You can download it here, and then a big thank you for participating. So I knew right from the start, like, all right, I've got interest here. I know that how they want to be communicated to. I know what they want, like from an event perspective. I know from a membership perspective, like what they believe is the good cost of value. And so now I just got to aggregate all the stuff and put together a plan. And so the plan that I put together was just basically my communication blueprint. I created a cadence that every Friday at 8 a.m., I would send an email out to every member of the West Point Society of New York. That was number one. And when I said that to myself, I'm like, I've got a full-time job. I am the chief growth officer at an IT services company with a very big quota on my shoulders to go and do on a daily basis. How in the world am I going to do an email to 3,000 people every Friday at 8 a.m.? Like, how am I going to come up with all this content, right? So then it came to part two, which was I need to create an AI solution to do this. I'm in tech. I've got to figure this out. Like, and so what I ended up doing was I went to the Sallyport page for the Association of Graduates, the Sallyport Administrator website in Sallyport. And on that, for society leaders, there's a bunch of best practices on how to communicate, best practices on how to attract young grads, best practices on Founders Day, best practices on events, best practices on leader conferences, best practices on Schmurgenfergen, like all sorts of best practices for everything, best practices for best practices. I mean, it's a great site for a ton of information. And I was like, I'm not going to read all of this. So, and I don't want to expect all of you to read it. You probably don't even, I mean, some of you are like, what the hell is he talking about? So I ended up going to that site and downloading all of those best practices. And I put it into AI. And I created what's called a gem, a Gemini gem. And I'm going to show you what that means in a second here. You're going to see, it's going to blow your mind. So what I ended up doing, so there's these gems, what they're called. And what you can do is have it tailored for your particular topic. Think of it as like a curated answer pool for you. And it could be on anything. Like for a while there, I had my resume in there. So I put my resume in there, and then I would ask it questions about like, oh, let me apply to this job, or, you know, how should I think about this role? And I did the same thing for the West Point Society of New York. What I ended up doing is I named it West Point Society News and Questions, and I described it as Communications and Membership Gem. And I told it, you are the Communications and Membership Drive Committee leader for the West Point Society of New York City. Include all of the best practices of communication to an old grad and a young grad, membership to recruit and retain the best in the society. Attached are a number of references to help with the communications, marketing, and recruitment. So I took all those amazing documents that I didn't read, that I downloaded, marketing plan, events and opportunities, happy hour best practices, holiday party best practices, speaker series best practices, fundraising, blah, 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 all of those things. And I said, this is going to be great. And so now every single time I have a question about what I should post to my society, I go right here to this. And so I said to myself, the next thing I have to do is come up with a cadence. What am I going to post every Friday at 8 a.m.? I said, well, this is a great question. So I said, this is going to test it right now. What should I post every Friday at 8 a.m. to my society for the next quarter? And it will come up with a plan. I don't know what's going to come up with. It's going to be great, whatever it is, because I know. No, I'm just kidding. But it'll come up with, and it's funny, it does tailor some of the stuff, right? Like so like it comes up with some good ideas. Some are winners, some are losers, but it's okay. So like, number one, like a monthly preview, a comprehensive overview of upcoming chapter updates, events, and a highlight from the monthly newsletter. Week number two, a young grad spotlight. Feature a young grad's achievement or recap a casual meetup, right? Okay. Membership and career. Promote a West Point Services career workshop or invite old grads to join mentor program. Okay. Like all these things, right? Like it comes up with some decent ideas, but it takes me too long to even like read this. So then I say, okay, great. Create the first week's email blast for me on the monthly preview. Note that Army softball is playing Fordham in the Bronx on the 12th. I don't know. I just made that up. I have no idea if they're playing there on the 12th. And so now it just creates the article for me. Like I do next to nothing. Like this is, I have a lot of stuff to do. I'm sure you guys all do, but I leverage this tool so often. Like this is something that each of you can do right now to help you with this communication. So here you go. Like it created something, a lot of it's made up, right? Because I made up the info that I put in there. And then what I would do is I would just copy and paste it. Like, oh yeah, this is great. And I go to my Sallyport page. I go to the manage group, and I just cut and paste. I go to campaigns, create a campaign, and yeah, I just go through it. Like it's literally like that simple. And you can kind of see already, like I've already started to create ones for 8 a.m. this Friday. And I've been doing it pretty consistent here for every 8 a.m. for a while now. And I do it that way. Now, I've been working on it for a while. So here is my communication, my official communications plan. The one I just showed you is kind of all made up. I just made that up right now, obviously. But the one that I'm communicating to the Board of Governors is all about this. And so this Friday, I'm going to send out a membership drive. I'm going to talk about, and I've tailored it now. You can go in there into campaigns and pick which group of individuals you want. There are some people that may be expiring for their renewal. Some people maybe don't have a membership at all. So I've got two different flows for that particular membership drive. We've got a few events coming up. So I've got a reminder on May 1st. I've got board nominations I'm going to mention on May 8th. I'm going to do a recap on the 15th. I didn't make this up. AI made it up for me, just so you know.
Fred, can you share that with us?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right. I just didn't realize if you.
Oh yeah, hold on a second. Yeah.
Yeah. Take your time.
I can do this. Yes. No, it didn't skip over here. Yeah. So here's that communications plan. Membership drive this Friday. A reminder for on May 1st for what's coming up. Like all of those type of things are super important to like helping me keep on track. And so I go back and view this all of the time as to this is my plan, right? And just like anything, like notice I haven't showed you much on Sallyport because Sallyport is the easiest thing of this whole process. The number one thing I've got to stress with each of you is the only way that you are going to drive engagement is through relevancy, the survey I just talked about, like being relevant for your particular society, and consistency in your communication. And there are tools out there to help you with that, which I just showed you, right? But without a plan, it makes it really difficult to do that because then life takes over, right? And I mean, it happens to me all the time, but there are ways in which you can pre-plan this stuff. And so that's exactly what I did here is I pre-planned all of this type of stuff. So take a look at my Sallyport page. I'll show you that, I've been doing this for quite some time here with all of these 8 a.m.s. And you can see the ones that I've got for the tailored, so I've got 159 that are in one queue that I've tailored the message for, 2,688 for a different queue. And then another one is a renew queue. So I've got 128 that are due for renewal that I want them to renew. So I've tailored the messaging for those particular individuals, specifically on the membership drive. But it's kind of interesting, at least in terms of that. And so again, I'm trying to be as consistent at 8 a.m. on Friday every morning. So at least my society knows exactly what to expect. Right. So I talked a lot there on just kind of the setup of what I do. Any questions on that before I get into the actual Sallyport page? All right. One of the things that I also really wanted to make sure that the society saw when they went to our landing page is a real esprit de corps, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like to be proud of what our society is. We've got nearly 3,000, 3,100 members of our society here in New York, and we're the second largest society to DC. And so I wanted, and quite frankly, I would do this if I had 50 in my society or 3,000. I want them to be proud of you know, the alumni connection that we have here in New York. And so I wanted to make sure that when they went to that site, that they felt that, right? And so for me, you know, I wanted to be able to show that and create that, and you'll see that in the visual here in a second. I also realized that we were spending a lot of money on other things. Like we were spending money on constant contact. We were spending money on westpoint-.org or -aog.org for doing like some events and membership drives, which was another expense that we didn't need to do. And there was a couple other things that we were looking at. They were looking at creating another website, and they were also thinking about, or they were also running LinkedIn, Twitter, and some Facebook pages. So I'm like, guys, we all have full-time jobs. Like, let's consolidate, eliminate all of that expense, and then give the people what they want, which is what the survey said, right? And consolidate here. So I ended up creating this page. Now, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it did take some time to do it. And I used, and you'll tell here in a second, you'll see that a lot of AI was used in the creation of this page. So you'll see the first thing that when you come to the page, you'll see that front and center is the banner that we used. So some imagery of school, and then of course New York. We're a 100-year society, so we just celebrated our 100 years. So I wanted to make sure that we've got a banner that represents that, and we're a distinguished society, so we've got that. When I was looking at what a good society page is made of, I really didn't know where to start, so I started looking at a lot of your pages. And a lot of your pages have a lot of great things on them. And so I did what every good graduate does, is cooperate and graduate. I started asking people and grabbing a lot of info and starting to put it onto our page and tailoring it for the New York Society. And so I did exactly that. So we needed events, a place for everybody to see what's happening in the society, a place for news to go out, a place to donate if they want to if somebody wants to donate to the society. Obviously, like creating membership and having a membership drive portion. I wanted to differentiate and create a members only tab, so that if you're a paying member, you have access to committees and joining committees, you have access to society documents, you have access to a bunch of other things that I'm still working on. And then I also wanted it to be the hub for our board. So our board of directors meets once a month, and I wanted a page and a landing page for them. So now if you're not in the board, you don't see that tab. If you're not a paying member of our society, you do not see these, or you don't get access to them. It just doesn't appear. And I'll show you how I did that in a second. And then last, and I think the most important, is I created an About Us page where it talks about the society, it talks about our leadership. I highlight our past presidents. Like we have 100 years society history that I wanted to make sure was documented. We have some pretty amazing honorary members, and then a directory of all of the members that are part of it. So you see when you land, every good homepage has a call to action, right? And the call to action is grip hands here in New York. So you can see the photo of New York, and you know, I brought in some of the language and you know, quotes that you can obviously, everybody as a grad knows what these are. I leveraged the color that the coloring of, you know, black, gray, and gold. So I have consistency in my branding as part of the site, so it looks good. And everybody loves to achieve goals. So we wanted to make sure that we have at least a banner of where we are in a society. Like we've got, you know, 3,200, almost 3,300 members of our society. We've got almost 280 members that are paying as a part of it. And so having this, like, first and foremost, like, whoa, I want to be a part of that. Like, that seems really cool. 3,300? That's amazing, right? Oh, the 280 people are paying for this membership. What do I get out of this membership? I want to be a part of that, right? So there's a call to action for anyone that comes to this homepage, right? And so, of course, and I have it hyperlinked so that if you're like, oh, I want to download this photo, oops, let me click on it, and it brings you to my membership page. So it brings them automatically to the membership page. So now I can convert them at the height of their, like, yes, I want to be a part of that. Now, how do I pay, right? So there's the call to action there. The other thing on the homepage, fun thing, I stole this a little bit from Stephanie, where we created the days, you know, and for us, the big thing for the West Point Society of New York, and for every West Pointer, is Army versus Navy. But most importantly this year, because it's here in New York, it's in MetLife Stadium, like right over there. And there's only 235 days ago. So I wanted to like have a countdown days, and thanks to Stephanie for giving me the idea. It was great to have that, so that you can see some of those big. And I put Army versus Air Force because that's my 25th anniversary. You know, that's our 25th reunion that day. So, and then of course Army versus Bryant, which is the opening game of the season. The other thing that a lot of people don't know, and I have this here, is you can download the Sallyport app. So I got a QR code. I've got the links directly to the App Store or to Android so that they can download it, right? So a lot of younger members don't even go to the websites here. They usually interact with their mobile device. So I have that as a call to action. And then at the very bottom are society events.
Fred, would you mind scrolling down a little bit for us?
Yeah, for sure. That's
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is it. I didn't want to like overwhelm
Got it.
the homepage
Got it.
with
Okay.
everything,
Sure.
because I wanted it to feel like, you know, hey, this is the important stuff. Actually, I still feel like it's a little bit crowded, but you know, if you make it down this far, I've got you hooked, right? So that's the homepage. The other thing that I wanted to show, I'm going to go through each one of these tabs so you guys get ideas. Again, I don't have all the answers. Like some of these work, some of them don't. Pick and choose as you will. So for the events page, what I wanted to do was create 3 different types of info that you're going to get out of events. The first is the annual calendar. When every society has their own cadence of things that they do on a yearly basis. And the West Point Society in New York is no different than any other society. We don't have a lot going on in January. It's cold here in New York, and it's gray, and it's disgusting. And so we don't really do much. But we send out a winter newsletter, and we start sending out stuff for Founders Day, and we communicate that in January. In February, we typically start back up with our happy hour series. We are in communications. We usually announce at that point our Founder Day speaker. Again, this is the cadence of our society. So if you're new to New York,
Fred, can you show them your calendar? I don't see it.
am I not showing this? Oh,
There you go.
sorry. Oh, wow. I thought I clicked on it. Maybe I didn't. Sorry. I got excited talking about it. Anyway, so when a new member to New York, thank you, Stephanie. When a new member of New York comes to New York, they know the society, right? what's happening, and they can kind of plan ahead. Oh wow, we announced a Founder Day speaker in February, and we have Founder Day in March. We have a happy hour series, and we do some professional development in April and in May. We have our annual meeting in June. We do football tailgates here. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow, that's cool. Well, Army, Air Force, and we have Army, Navy football parties, and we have a holiday party here. This is a society I want to join. Oh my goodness, look at all these photos. Like, I feel like, and again, a call to action at the bottom. Become a member, right? Join the club. Like, here's a picture of our annual meeting and our holiday party, and here's 2019's Founders Day, and it's a picture of this goofy guy, and here's one of our tailgate photos, and like all of this stuff like really shows that this is an active society. This is not a dead society. This is an active society, right? So that's the annual calendar. Create that this is alive. We have a cadence here. And then if you want to see the actual detailed events, you go to the society events. And so we have a fairly, this is actually like perfect for this this viewing, because we've got quite a few stuff going on, right? So tomorrow, a West Point grad owns this, or is part of this women's veterans group, and they're doing a Investing Like a Woman, personal portfolios to community. So it's a women veteran event that's here in the city, and a social event. We've got West Point sailing at the Port Jeff Yacht Club, which is about 45 minutes away from here, right? So it's kind of cool. I totally forgot we had a West Point sailing team, but we do. So, and they're here, so it's perfect. Beat Navy. And then the Catholic Cadet Club is coming. They're going to have a mass here in New York, and here's where they'll be, and they're going to be singing, and it's going to be great, and you can go do that. We've got our happy hour series. We've got a professional development series. A grad reached out to us and said, hey, at the Baseball Hall of Fame in upstate New York, announce this for the group, right? So I don't have everything plumbed out for the rest of the year because it's still working on it, like still getting all the ideas and whatnot. But I do save the dates. Like Army, Navy, you can save the date, but I don't have anything more than it's on the 12th. Like, that's about all I know at this point, right? But you can start to fill that stuff in. So between that and the annual calendar, you have an expectation of what's happening in the society. And then the other thing that was a big feedback was the BUSMA calendar and like what's going on at school, right? So we've got links to the AOG calendar and the athletics calendar, so they can go. It's just ease. I don't really do much with this besides I look at it occasionally to see if there's new ideas about what's happening. I look at the certainly the athletics calendar and all the stuff that the AOG puts out, and try to put as much into it as I can. Any questions on how I run, like, just the communication on that stuff? Or how I built it here? Okay.
So, well, Fred, I was going to ask you, like, with all the cadet information, where do you find all that information?
Yeah, good question. So I go here, and typically, so I just click on that link. You saw me click on the AOG link. And the AOG does a good job here with this stuff, putting this all together. Sometimes they miss stuff. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it's great. So I go here. I also go to the athletics calendar, and I can't stand looking at it that way. So I look at it this way, and you can see, oh, Piscataway. And I'm like, well, the New Jersey Society will handle that one. West Point, Hamilton's way upstate, West Point. So I'll just like skim through this like once a week, once every other week, so to speak. Gwen, you have a question?
Yeah, thanks. I think the question is probably geared towards maybe Stephanie. Stephanie, I don't know if anyone on my team, because I'm kind of a rather new president, I don't know if anyone on my team has the skill set to format a website on Sallyport. So is that something that you can offer help on?
Yeah, we can set up a time to go through it, and once you learn how to do it, like, I think that's kind of Fred and I met, and then he kind of just, with my little bit of guidance, I don't even know if it's guidance, but with my little bit of discussion with him, he just kind of ran with it and figured out how to do everything. Because once you get in the back office, it's pretty
It's so easy, Gwen.
It-
Like it is very easy. Yeah, like it's that's one of the best parts about what the AOG has set up for us. Is that this dumb guy right here can figure it out. Like I am not an IT guy and I figured it out. So like happy to sit with whoever. Stephanie's awesome. Like she's the best coach there is, like in putting this together for me, like just like helping me with a lot of the stuff. But and I can certainly help you too, Gwen, if whoever on your society wants to volunteer to help with that.
Okay,
And Gwen, I'm
fantastic.
not IT either, so so
Yeah,
you know,
I
you
think
have
I
two
think
non-IT people
just
trying to figure
changing
it out.
just changing our Founders Day photo to the most
You
current
know,
year
too,
seems to
Gwen,
kind of
that's
tap us
something
out.
if we have, even if there's just you, or, you know, a few or a large group, we can set another, it doesn't have to be just on the webinar. We can set another time where we can do it together. So as you're opening up your, you know, your respective Sallyport page, we can do an event. We can, you know, create a members page. We can do an about us page, and whatever you want to do, we can go ahead and create together and get, you know, a few people on board. So, Stephanie, maybe we can put our heads together and come up with that. And, you know, like Fred said, we'll start out with a survey and we'll figure out what everyone wants. And so we'll start cracking at it that way. But certainly
Yeah,
reach out to either of us to do that.
fantastic. Yeah, there's some great, I mean, so much of your content there is common to all of our society. So I
Yeah.
certainly plan to share ideas
Yeah. Yeah. I
shamelessly.
mean, yeah, it's like, again, like I didn't come up with all of these ideas. Like I did research. Like I asked my society, and then I went on to Sallyport and I looked at, I don't know, I must have looked at 50 societies, web pages, just like click. Oh, what do they do? Oh, I like that. Oh, what do they do? Oh, I like that. And so I started to pull stuff together. Like, you know, you can see I create news articles, right? So the news articles are all AI written. Fred did not write a single one of these. Don't tell my society that, okay? But it's relevant. I, you know, add content. You know, I'll, you know, write it or I'll type out like, hey, this happened at the event. Make sure you note that there was some weird Air Force Academy graduate there from, you know, 1997, right? Like, make a funny joke about the Zoomie that showed up, or like, you know, like I'll add like, and then they'll throw it in there in a professional way, and it's funny, you know, and it's kind of quirky and stuff like that. But we do that. I have a donations page. And since it's kind of clunky, there's no real way to donate. What I ended up doing was creating an event page to donate. So you can donate via an event. So a little trick of the trade there, like, so you can register for the event and it takes you through that, like you're registering for an event, but you're not registering an event, you're donating cash, right? So that's one way to do it. Membership, you know, so like I showed you earlier with the survey results, the society said to me, it's too expensive. Like make it inexpensive. The other thing that was part of it was I don't know when I renew. When do I renew? Like I'm not current because I didn't even know I expired. You didn't tell me, right? Or I just lost it in my email. So, you know, we created various membership profiles. And for me, these are the ones that are available to me because of my affiliation. But so in Sallyport, you can add affiliations to your profile. So if you're active duty or you're a reservist, like you can add that to your profile. And so what I ended up doing is for our, I'm going to share something else with you. So for our society, I ended up creating different membership tiers. So this was our original structure, just 2 tiers. $100 tier for annual membership, and it was only from 1 year. And oh, by the way, it was only available between July 1st and June 30th. It was the only time you do it, right? And it was through westpoint.org, westpointaog.org, or whatever it was. Or you could pay $2,000 and have a lifetime, right? So I was like, ugh, no wonder people don't register and become members. And so what I ended up doing is I created in Sallyport opportunities for different tiering based on what you were comfortable with, right? So I kept the $100, 12-month duration, and I set it automatically to auto renew. And like a good salesman, I said, oh, well, I want them to commit to more. So if they commit to 3 years, I'm going to give them a discount. And so the discount was 10%, $270, and it auto renews at the end of the 3 years so they don't forget, right? And then I have a 5-year, right? Same story. So now it's a 25% discount. So instead of $500, you pay $375 for 5 years, right? Incentivizing long-term commitment, right? Then I kept the $2,000 lifetime. And then here's where, unfortunately, I don't have the affiliation on my Sallyport profile because I am definitely not a young grad. But I ended up was able to put in the membership profile so that if you're a 2016 grad or younger, you get basically a 24-month membership for $100. So essentially 2 for 1. And again, auto renews. If you are a satellite, like outside of the Northeast area, I gave you a discount because you can't come to all the events. So 1 year, $75. If you're an active duty, because we do have a lot of obviously here in New York, very close proximity to West Point, we have, so you get half off, $50 for a 12-month duration. So like I started to think about that, like that's the feedback I got. So I ended up putting that into our membership tiering. And like I said, you can't see it here, but so I have the annual membership, and my annual membership is about to come up. So I'm going to auto renew and do all that stuff. So pretty neat.
Can I just chime in, Frank?
Yeah.
Fred,
Yeah.
so when you set that up in Sallyport, you can set up when the email comes out to people to renew. So you can set up for like 3 days ahead of time. Your membership's expiring. It's going to auto renew. You don't need to do anything to if you want to keep recurring it. If you want to cancel it, you can go in and cancel it. So there is a way to set that all up so you don't have to worry about anything, and it just goes straight to your members when it comes up.
Yeah, that's a great point. And for me, it's you can always opt out. So that's the other thing that I want. I wanted it to auto renew, and that when I go through the cycle of like clicking this button to go purchase now, I can also say, no, do not auto renew me. But I wanted to make sure that it was defaulted to auto renew. Again, salesman, that's what my job is, right? And what we ended up doing, and the other thing that, again, if you don't track it, it's one of those things, like you have to track this stuff, right, to see if it's working. And for us, my membership numbers have gone up pretty significant. And I haven't been advertising this. Zero advertisement about joining beyond just the website. In January, I was at 252 members. Right now, I'm at 280. And I did no email campaigns. My first email campaign is happening this Friday for joining and via membership. It's only been on the website. No outbound campaigns. And you can see my regular membership, 82, 111, 117. Now I'm at 118. Lifetime membership has gone down because we've lost some members, just passed away, unfortunately. Mike, what's up, bud?
So just quick question. Are you using Sallyport as the paymaster for this, as the bank? Okay.
Oh yeah. So again, all of it's, so what I'll show you real quick here on the back end.
Fred, I think you're muted.
I am?
No, he's good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I just couldn't hear.
Yeah, no problem. So I do use Sallyport on the back end to pay for all this stuff. You can see my active membership, total orders. This is, again, these are brand new orders that just came in without me like advertising, right? And you can see all the revenue I created. Now, you can see the payments, like the payments are coming through on this end, which is nice.
And just to clarify, they actually set up a Stripe account after Fred joined. And so with their Stripe account, they met me and we linked it to their Sallyport group. And so they can use it wherever they need to. And they have full access to their money that comes into their Stripe account through Sallyport. So AOG doesn't touch it at all. This is just the vehicle for them to get their money.
Yeah, no, awesome. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, and that's, I think, a really big thing. It's reduced the friction, the administrative friction that goes along with all of that type of stuff. And back with events, we run all of the payment for events through the Sallyport site. So in the same mechanism. So Founders Day, we had several tiers of paying for Founders Day. If you are a non-member, to go to Founders Day, it was like $260 or $270 a ticket. And then if you were a paid member of the society, it was like $240 a ticket. So you get a discount. And then if you're active duty, it's $190 or $195, something like that. I can't remember, and I'm obviously getting old at this point. So, you know, there's incentivization of being a member. Like you get discount to events like this, you know, like Founders Day. The other thing I wanted to make sure is that on the website, it creates another call to action. What do I get out of membership? You can't just, you know, say you become a member and not have any reason to become a member, right? So, you know, helping with like mentorship, this is a to-do for me, is to create a membership page. Fellowship and tradition, so kind of talking to more of the older grads, like, you know, be a part of a network, be a part of a community. We do have some service and outreach, so join some of our committees with admissions and connecting with like class of 2030 and like all of that type of stuff. Governments and transparency, like be a part of the society and molding what's happening for the future of the society. I've got the members only stuff here, which I'll go to a couple things here real quick. You can see the society committees that you can join. I had fun putting some of this stuff together. I got the dean over here because on this podcast, and like the firstie yelling at the new kid, like it was cool. I did like putting this stuff together. But anyway, we have you know, so I created all of this, and you know, so you can join and be part of the military, you know, liaison officer program, blah, 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 blah. So like all of this stuff, like, again, call to action to bring people to be a part of it. I have a board members only section. So again, if you're not a board member, you don't get access to this, and you can set the profile page to do that. We've got our board meetings and when they happen, all the term for all of us. We've got all our board documents here, bylaws, planning docs, newsletters, meeting minutes. So you go to the meeting minutes and you can click on that and see all of our meeting minutes and download them, and, you know, feel like, you know, if in case you missed something, you know, it's all available. But the best part, I think, that is the easiest is, and the most fun that I had putting together, was our About Us page. So I described the history of the Society of New York. I need to update that, but 7 committees, 12 yearly events, 3,300 old grads. You know, what's our mission? Like, what do we do here? You know, what's our vision? And then again, call to action, become a member. Who's leading our society? Well, Jen is our president. Jeff Preston's the VP. Ashling, my classmate, is our secretary. Susan's our treasurer. And then we've got an assistant treasurer, Dakota. And then here's your board of governors and supporting members. So it's like, you know, it's easy for them to go to. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Stephanie and I ended up creating badges for everybody's profile. So you're a New York Society officer, you'll see that on Jen's profile page, it'll say president. You go to Jeff's page, it'll say he's an officer of the society. You go to my page, it'll say that I'm a board member of the society, which is kind of neat, at the Sallyport profile. I also created a past presidents page, which I think is really cool. Again, and if they're active in the society, we created a New York Society past president badge on their profile. So you'll see all of our past presidents. Obviously, Edmund Bellinger, the class of 1918, is no longer with us, or Meade Wildrick, the class of 1910. But I ended up linking the AOG the AOG site for the memorial page for that person, right? And, you know, members can look at it and read it, and like some of these guys talk about like the pride they have of being a member of the West Point Society and the president of the society, right? Like it's really cool. I definitely like had fun reading through a lot of these folks and like what some of the stuff they did. Like it was, like he talks about like the thing, talks about him being part of our society. Like one way that we can connect everybody through this site is by, really bringing out some of these folks that contributed like back then. So I would definitely like, if you can, like find this out. This is extremely difficult information to find out. And I still am missing quite a bit like before 1946. So I gotta do a lot of more digging there, but kind of a cool idea. And I did it for all of them, right? So you can see all the hyperlinks that I've got here on the left-hand side with all of these folks. So another kind of a cool idea. What else do I got here? Oh, honorary members. So we do have some honorary members of our society. Buzz is an honorary society member. Professor Doherty, some of you may have had him as a professor. Susan Gurian, she was a wife of a grad that was lost on 9/11, so important to our society, obviously. Jack Jacobs, the man, the myth, the legend. If you've ever met Jack, he's like the great grace. He's hysterical. Monsignor McCormick, and you can see all of them right here, right? So, and then like what I wanted to do is like for some of the younger members who may not know Jack Jacobs, like you can go click and, it goes to his Wikipedia page, right? Like, and, we see Jack around all the time. So it's kind of cool. Like, so I wanted, again, creating that esprit de corps of like being proud to be in the society, right? I don't know if anyone's ever clicked on this, but that one person that clicks on it and says, oh, that's really cool. Wow, this is an active society. I want to join this. That's the point behind all of it, right? And then the last
thing. Can I
thing.
just interrupt?
Yeah.
I don't want to go too far from your comment about Doug Gurian's wife. Doug Gurian was a plebe in my B squad. He was the only prepster in the squad, and everybody in the squad looked up to him. It was the largest squad in the Beast that year. There were 13 members of my squad, and every single person graduated.
Wow. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, he got them all through, and that really motivated him. So it's really great. It's so wonderful for me to see how you've honored her by including her.
Yeah. So yeah. That's a really cool. I can't wait to tell our board that. That's amazing. What a great story, Ken. I appreciate that. Very cool.
You bet.
Very cool. It's things like that it's so cool, like to hear stories. And you wouldn't have heard that story if I didn't create an honorary society member page. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the point of this. It's not to be administrative in nature. It's about creating the connection of society members, both in your society and outside of your society, with the AOG or whoever's coming in. Like, now the next time that you come to New York, and you guys will travel to New York either for work or for pleasure, and come to our page, and maybe you'll see like an event that's happening, right? Like, that's the other thing that is a really cool part about creating these pages and like these connections, because it's about connection. It's about doing all that. So I can go on for hours, quite frankly, about this stuff. I'm pretty passionate about it. The things that hopefully you take away, like, number one, you don't know your society. I'm sorry, you don't. Like, because you haven't asked them. Because there's a brand new graduate, right? That's they're 2026 is about to graduate, and they're about to be in your society. You don't know them. You don't know what they like. You don't know what they want to hear, and you don't know how they communicate. Like, my daughter is in college, and I don't know how to communicate with her. I'm working on it. She's big WhatsApp. I don't know what that's all about, but whatever. So that's how I communicate to her with. But my point is, like, you have to ask your society what they want, like how they like to communicate, what they want to do, like continue to baseline yourself. Then number two is come up with a plan. Come up with a plan on how to communicate, consolidate all of their input, and then step three, create a plan and be consistent. Consistency is absolutely key. Like, without consistency, like, all of these plans start to fall apart. I can't stress that enough. And use all of the tools at your disposal to help you. I've got a full-time, very demanding job, and this is a moonlighting type of thing. If anyone uses moonlighting anymore, I don't think I've heard that word either in a while. I'm moonlight doing this, right? And so think about what you can do with, adding in an AI gem to your own society, and like how you would, figure that out. Use Gemini, use ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, it is. Notebook LM. There's plenty of them out there, and you can figure that out. But make it repeatable and use the technology to help you do this. And then, sit back and continue to, work it every day. Track what's going on. I didn't show like half of the stuff that I track, but I track consistency. I track, I track membership. I showed you tracking membership. I also track my communications to see if they're working or not. I see, and Sallyport does a good job with giving you a lot of the detail on your events or your campaigns and how they're working. And so every month I track, and every Friday I'll type out, I've already got the next one ready to go, right? Membership launch April 24th at 8 a.m., right? I have no info because I haven't sent it yet. But I'll track each one and update the numbers to see, oh, did that work? No, it didn't work. Oh, that worked better than this one did. Well, why did that one work better than this one worked? Well, there wasn't really call to action. It was just the recap. So, but more people clicked on it. I wonder why more people clicked on this than, so then you start to get better at it. Like if you don't look at the numbers, then you'll never get better at this stuff, right? So like I do that and I think about that type of stuff. And I think about like all of those type of things that are important that I want to make sure we get better at. Because I want to engage people the way that they want to be engaged. Anyway, I did so much rambling today. Steph, I'm sorry. I could keep talking if you want, but
No,
I think
Fred,
that's
it was great. And just so you know, I don't know if you saw the chats, but
no.
Mike Greer said a boilerplate acknowledgement statement should cover everything that Fred has created. This is awesome stuff. And then David Madrid, Fred, your passion for this is infectious. Big bites to you, Fred, as a very new society secretary of West Point Society of the Space Coast, Florida. You've given me a ton of ideas and inspiration for how to improve. Great job.
Yeah,
so I agree. Great job. You inspire me too.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't touch on badging. Like we've got badging. We've got we're doing a bunch of like next level things to engage people. Like Steph has helped me with like a Sallyport engagement badge, where there's a digital badge where if you do so many clicks or likes on a news article, or you go to an event and you RSVP, then you unlock a badge and the badge gets posted to your profile. Like I'll just show you real quick, like the badging. And
I was gonna say you should show your own name. Are you gonna show your own profile?
Here's her, right? Like
I think Fred might have the record for all the badges. So
yeah, so I probably do. So you can see, like, I'm on the board of governors. I'm a committee member. I'm a society leader, obviously. I've got annual membership. I've got the society pillar badge. You've got to RSVP and book a ticket to event to get that badge. I'm a digital advocate because I encourage consumption of newsletters and annual reports to stay informed. Like, so you can create this digital engagement with your society. And it comes up here. And the funny thing is that like you'll get an email when you get the badge. And so when people got the first badge, they're like, what is this badge? And then I created a news article and I like, here's all the badges you can get. And sure enough, engagement at Sallyport went up, because there's nothing more that Army people like than collecting badges. Like we lived for that, with the ribbons. So like take advantage of that like type of persona. Like I tongue in cheek a little bit on that, but like there's a group of folks, a year group that likes that, and take advantage of that and start to push that as well for additional engagement ideas. And we got so many other things that like are circling in my head that I just run out of time think about and to execute on, but it's on AI will
And
take care of it for me.
And as you can see with the badges, like, there's a society leader one, if you're a class leader also, you have one. If you're a VVSL under our Veteran Services Program, you'll have that badge. And those are like all of AOG. But like Fred said, he's like, I have all these ideas. Let's do these badges. So, we created the badges and we used AI to make the badge. And, it's really pretty simple. And he just sent me the ideas and told me who he wants to get the badges, and voila, it was pretty easy to get it all set up. And so we encourage you, if you have an idea for a badge for your own society, reach out. I'll more than happy to make a badge for anything you want. I'm here to help all of you make it better. So Fred and I obviously have a great relationship. And so he has such great ideas. And so it's been great working with him because we have been able to really, learn even more to do on the platform. Things are changing all the time. I started an admin working group. So if you wanted to be an admin, and we meet the first Thursday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you want to join, come. We discuss ideas. We discuss new things that are happening on the Sallyport platform. We beta test a lot of things for our vendor, and they always know it first, so they can see it and hear it. We try to post it in the Sallyport admin group, but they get to hear it first. They get to see what's good. They can tell me what is not working, so I can send it to our vendor and say, hey, can we fix this? Can we try to change something? This is what my admins want. So I'm just putting a plug in for that group. So if you want to join, shoot me an email. I can put it in the chat. But yeah, anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to take it over.
No, it's all good. No, again, I can help too. Like, go to the New York Society page and get some ideas. And if you can't, Fred, how did you do that? Like, just send me an email. Like, I'll help out, no problem. Jump on your page and figure it out. So, we're here to help. That's all I got.
Fred, I got a question for you.
Sure.
So let me preface this by saying I've been a life member of Society of New York for 40
Yes, you
years.
have.
Yeah.
Yes, you have, Steve.
I'm one of the remaining 158 that's still kicking.
That's right.
Sorry, I lost my voice today. But
that's all right. You got that badge. You got the lifetime member badge.
Try to spit it out. So I'm actually on the board of West Point Society of Mid-Hudson region, which is actually a little bit closer to me physically, and the events are much more local for me. But we've been debating something, and I'm kind of curious as you're feeling about it. And the question is a provocative one. It's like, why do we have a membership fee for a West Point Society? Why do we need a membership fee?
I asked my society that the same question, and it's what we're able to do with it, right? So you have to figure out what is the mission for your society. For ours, we sat down and we talked about that mission, and our mission is to, it's on our page. Like, we're here to create connection between old grads in the New York area. We're here to create a multi-generational network. We're here to have some community service element to it. And we're also here to support future West Point cadets. So there's an admissions component. How we do that is through, in some cases, funding events to bring in the next class for an admissions thing. So most recently, we had a class of 2030 event where we brought the parents in, and we had a bunch of our alumni, our society members come in, and we held an event for them, and they didn't have to pay. We paid for it because we wanted them to feel the connection of the West Point Society of New York and have those parents connect with us as part of it. And so, we have to do a better job explaining to members what we're doing with these fees. And that's one aspect of what you're doing with these fees. Other aspect is...
we struggle with this. So we do a similar new cadet thing, and it's not that expensive. It doesn't cost us a lot of money. But all of our events are self-funded. When the board sets the price for Founders Day, we make sure that there's enough extra in there to cover whatever events we have for the year. So we're really not funding a lot. And as we step back and think about it, we're like, well, why are we collecting membership dues if we're not spending that money on a regular basis through the year? It's a philosophical question. I know we've kind of always done it this way, right? But we're kind of asking ourselves, are we discouraging membership because we're charging a fee when we're really not using that fee for anything because all of our activities are self-funding? So I don't know. I just throw it out there as kind of a philosophical question.
I don't, and Steve, I don't restrict access to information based on whether or not you're paying or not. So anybody that joins the Sallyport page will get my email every Friday, regardless if you're a paying member or not. So access to the information is important. The paying membership aspect, the individual gets benefits because they know that that member fee is going to something that we're donating to a veterans group, or we're funding a admissions team, or admissions event, or we're hosting the trap and skeet team at the Union League Club, or we're doing these 10 other things, right? If your society is not doing that stuff, well, then that's a good question to have. Like, do we need a membership fee? We're self-funded and all this other stuff. Maybe we don't. It's a fair question to have.
Hey, Mike,
you got to really look at
you guys have a perspective on it?
What was the second question? The follow-up question?
The question was, why do we charge membership dues for society membership?
So I'll offer a slightly different perspective because, Fred's given us the urban city, perspective. I'm the vice president, Dale McDonough, vice president of the West Point Society Tennessee Valley, which is really Huntsville and Redstone Arsenal. So we're a little bit more rural, but we use our membership dues for everything he just said, all the cadet activities that we support. So we have summer AIAD cadets, about 25 to 30 typically, will participate in different government organizations for their internships. And we host them for a social, every one of them. Sometimes we take them to a baseball game. Sometimes it's just a pizza party. Sometimes it's the German, fest that's at the Space and Rocket Center. So we get them some exposure to the community, and it's a chance to interface with the older grads. We don't have young grads here because they're out doing their active duty stuff someplace else. We have the R&D guys and the engineers and the test guys and the program managers and the acquisition core guys and all that stuff. So they're in their second half of their career. So it's very senior in that perspective. But those numbers have increased dramatically. And so we try to have these interfaces as much as possible. When the Ares rocket team used to participate with NASA, we also did the same thing. We host them and we gin up support. So, but we do our members only events. There's about 3 of those a year that we'll do. Our Army Navy watch party will have about 250 people at a country club, and we decorate the heck out of it. We rent out the whole place basically for that event. And the members only, they get in for $5. Non-members, my trick in the past has been charge them the equivalent of what an annual membership fee would cost. And I would kind of rope them in that way for at least a 1 year, and then hopefully try to get them to renew. So, I mean, we do different things. And then the other part about being a nonprofit is anything excess from our budget that we take in, we then donate back to the cadet activities via AOG with their help. And we select different clubs every year. We'll have at least 2 or 3 clubs, and we'll send them between $3,000 to $5,000 to buy new equipment, to help them with their travel plans, et cetera, et cetera. So there's tons of ways to do it, but that's just some examples of how we use our membership monies. I agree with you. I do get feedback from people that suggest that we shouldn't have membership dues, and it's an ongoing struggle for educating them as to what we do with it. But we do silent auction stuff as well, and all of those proceeds also go back to West Point, to the cadets. Over.
That's awesome, Dale. Very cool.
And I just wanted to point out in Sallyport, so all your local grads and surviving spouses are automatically added to your Sallyport group, whether or not they're, like Fred said, they're members. So if you send an email campaign through Sallyport, they will get them, and they get automatically added when they update their information with us. So you may not know they moved in, but as long as they let us know, they'll get automatically added, and then your emails will go to them. You won't even notice that you're sending it to new people. It just happens. And then if you post anything in the live feed, that only goes to people who have activated their Sallyport accounts. So the email campaigns go to everyone, regardless if they've activated their accounts or not. The live feed just goes to the activated members of your group.
Yeah, I didn't, me personally, I didn't activate the live feed in my society. Just because, listen, with 3,000 people, I didn't want to take it on, quite frankly.
Right.
But maybe you do. And so again, like, survey your, organization and see what the results are. Like, there wasn't an overwhelming response for I need to communicate via Sallyport to all 3,000 people on a live feed. Like, it wasn't anything overwhelming like that, at least when we polled. So.
And that's a nice thing about Sallyport, because there's the main tabs, and you can activate, enable any tabs you want that are kind of generic, and you don't have to. Like Fred didn't want the live feed. A lot of the societies don't, because they don't want to have to moderate it. So you can do whatever you want to, and you can build your own custom tabs like you saw Fred do. So it's really whatever you need and whatever you want to do in Sallyport. I always say whatever your imagination is what you can do. I'm not very imaginative, but Fred is. So.
Yeah, Steph, I'll also add to that if you save as you go, you can preview everything. It could be private to you, so you don't have to worry about it being out in the open for people to see, just in case. You have that privacy as well. Well, it's yep. Go ahead, Fred.
No, that's it for me, Elizabeth. I
Okay.
appreciate giving me the floor. And again, like I'm available. Send me an email, or reach out through Steph or Debbie or Jeanette or Elizabeth. Any one of them. They all know me. So like, send me a note and I can help out too.
Well, just wanted to thank you, Fred, and everyone here who took time out of their evening to come learn. I certainly did, and I'll be reaching out to Fred and to Stephanie. I'm still learning myself, and I think this was a really powerful example of how we can get started and how we can start with the basics and build it up to something really grand. It just depends on what we want and how we want to tailor it to our members. So anyway, Fred, thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it. And I'll echo Fred's sentiments, is that anytime you need anything, feel free to contact Stephanie or me, Debbie, Jeanette, even Ed. So anyway, have a wonderful evening. And
Steve had his hand up.
I'm sorry, Steve.
Yeah, just a quick question, Elizabeth.
Hi there.
Yeah,
Yes.
good to see you. Michelle
Good
says
to
hi.
see you. Yes, good to see you as well.
Just a quick question. I thought I heard at the beginning that these meetings are going to be the third Tuesday, so not Wednesday like tonight. Is that right? It's going to be the third Tuesday?
I did not hear that.
I thought she said the Wednesday, the third Wednesday, I think, at night.
I thought I heard Tuesday. That's why I'm asking. When are these meetings going to be?
I heard third Tuesday, and maybe tonight just a one-off.
Yes, sorry. Well, Jeanette, can you confirm that? Would that be every Wednesday evening now, every third Wednesday evening at 7 p.m.?
We are going to send out a poll to our constituents.
That's great.
Because I'm going to follow Fred's guidance here. And we're going to figure out what they want, because quite frankly, I think what we had decided we were going to do, though, is we were going to keep it on Wednesday at 7 for maybe a 3-month period to see how, because it takes a while for folks to, adjust and reset. And so, but we also want to stick with the consistency plan. So I like that as well. So, what we're going to do is we're going to poll and we're going to come up with a plan, and then we're going to keep consistent on it.
You see what you did, Fred? See what you did.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's, it's great. It's amazing. Love it. Good stuff.
And can you
Established
reiterate when the admin working groups are meeting? Maybe that's where the confusion came.
Oh, so the admin working groups are the first Thursday of the month at 3 p.m. Eastern, and that is during the workday. And it's on a big group. It's maybe 5 or 6 of us on a good day. So, but like I said, I find I'm always great. Fred had already had kind of briefed us all on all this, so I knew what he was going to say. And like I said, we're beta testing reactions right now, so everybody knows that you can see if you like those. Or we beta tested polls, and so they all knew about it, so they could go out and try it in their societies. So they're kind of, and we have class admins too, so it's not just society admins, it's also class admins. If you want a link, email me and I'll send you the link to join in with us. So as I like to say, we have New York to Oregon, 60s through 2000s who show, for classes and societies, and small, like Oregon's kind of small. I think they're about 100 people, and, Fred's up to 3,000. So it's a good mix of us.
Just like Fred, you got great hair, man, but you're still a young guy. And, and I see the sun has set there in New York City, my wife's favorite city, other than here in St. Louis. So appreciate everything you're doing up there, jumping right in and taking care of things.
Hey, thanks.
Right.
Appreciate it, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. We'll go ahead and follow through this recording. We will post it. We'll also send that out with the next notice for the next meeting after we figure that out with our survey. So if you don't have anything else, again, feel free to reach out to us anytime, call or email. Otherwise, have a great evening, everyone.
Hey, Elizabeth, can you stick for a minute?
Yeah, I sure can. Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Good night.
Great night. Take it easy.
Good night.
So I have the pleasure, I guess I should say it that
Hi,
way,
Steve.
of drafting the DSA for our society.
Oh, yeah.